You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Well, communities all across the Bay Area continue to see this heavy rainfall. This is a live look at downtown San Francisco, the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, and our Black Mountain Cam in Santa Clara County. Heavy coastal flooding, king tides, turning some roads into rivers. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. After a weekend of rainfall and flooding, the Bay Area is getting hit yet again with more wet weather, and businesses are still in the process of cleaning up the damage they saw from the recent rain. Some had to close their doors as the water surrounded their buildings. And for those of you getting ready to head home for the day, this is some footage from Highway 17 in the Santa Cruz Mountains. You can see those cars just driving through those puddles of water. And as the rain continues to fall, that coastal flood advisory just expired an hour ago at 3 p.m. today. But here's the question. When is the rain supposed to start? Let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz. As I was walking up, you could really hear that rain hitting the building.
You could hear that rain hitting the building, and there is actually a couple things that we're concerned about. A flood warning up near Santa Rosa for the Russian River. Actually, it's Marquest Creek, and there's actually a tornado warning that's currently going on, which is why it took me a little bit longer to get on set today, because we are currently looking at a tornado warning. Let's just walk over the wall, and I'll break it down for you right now. It's over near, actually, in between Pescadero and Davenport. There's not a whole lot of people that live in this area, but there is a heavy downpour right now, and it has a little bit of that rotation signature to it, but not a whole lot. If we actually take a closer look at the velocity of the rotation, there is a little bit. Actually, you can see that green, the brighter the green and the red are together and closer together, the more rotation there is. So there definitely is a little bit of something right there. There is some rotation. The green and the red are together, and that is exactly where that thunderstorm system is. However, whether or not that funnel is actually making its way to the ground is still unknown at this point. We haven't gotten any pictures. We haven't gotten any confirmed reports, but we do know that there is at least that rotation. There is at least that signature for the potential of a tornadic activity. And again, it's in between Davenport and it's right just to north of Davenport. So those of you who are planning on traveling on Highway 1 down the coast, it's not a great time right now. Widespread activity is going to continue. Let's hopefully take a step back and show you again that tornado warning, show you where it currently is, San Mateo, Santa Cruz counties. This is going to continue to weaken over the next 15 minutes. It's only in effect until 4:15. But it's something to keep our eyes on as we step out over the next couple of hours. Again, a little bit of that rotation still ongoing. We'll keep our eyes peeled as we step out over the next couple of hours. Those of you who live in that area, stay indoors, get to your safe spot. If you have one, get away from windows. If you have a lower shelter, or if you don't have a place without windows, get in your bathtub and just put something that's heavy over you, like your mattress or a nice thick blanket. That's the best thing to do with tornadic activity. But again, honestly, I don't really think it's anything too crazy right now, but there is rotation and there is something to keep our eyes on as we step out over the next couple of hours. Let's take a step back, though, show what we've seen over the past 6 hours. Widespread rainfall. And again, the heaviest of the rain is actually farther south, where that tornadic activity is currently taking place. Let's take a look at our current radar right now and show you again right now where it is. Heavy rainfall continues. And the thing that I am honestly more concerned about is what we're seeing kind of back up here. These pockets that kind of wrap around behind the end of the system. That is also another indication of rotation. And again, those heavier cells that you see farther south, that is also an indication of heavier pockets of downpours and the potential of that rotation that we've been seeing. How much rain have we seen over the past 6 hours? A good amount, kind of depending on where you're located. The farther south you go, the drier it gets. The farther north and coastal you go, the wetter it gets. Over the past 6 hours, there's been anywhere from a half of an inch in Half Moon Bay in San Francisco to upwards of over a half of an inch in Nevada, over an inch in places like Pacifica. Let's reload that because I think we have more updated totals here for you. Yes, here we go. More updated totals. Over an inch in Pacifica. There we go. Over half of an inch in San Francisco, Half Moon Bay, Nevada, and over towards Oakland, a little less than half of an inch. And then you get to Concord and you've barely even seen anything. So it really is all dependent on your location. The farther inland you go, the drier it gets. And we are going to continue to see this widespread rainfall over the next couple of hours. I want to also point out something that I'm concerned about is a flood warning that is currently in effect across our North Bay communities. Again, that's the tornado warning that's down along the coast near the Santa Cruz Mountains. This is what we are going to be concerned about when it comes to that rotation and all of that activity. Let's put on our current radar so we can kind of go back and forth, show you. Hopefully it wants to load. I know it says current radar on the bottom. Maybe there we go. This is what we're concerned about. I don't see all too many telltale signs of tornadic activity, but there is a little bit of rotation, and there is going to be, again, all eyes on that. Farther north, what we're concerned about is the flooding that's currently taking place over near Santa Rosa. Actually, it's not in Santa Rosa, it's near Santa Rosa. So let's take a zoomed in view on this and show you that flooding that's taking place across our North Bay communities, because again, it is just downstream of the Russian River. If you are living anywhere near Mirabel Heights, this is what we are now concerned about. There is ongoing flooding in the Mark West Creek. We are seeing currently flooding ongoing near Mirabel Heights, with anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain having already fallen. An additional 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of more rain is likely. And that again is going to lead to flooding downstream. So from the Russian River streaming through near Mirabel Heights, if you live anywhere downstream low-lying areas of this creek, Mark West Creek, all the way down towards Santa Rosa, Windsor, Roner Park, Sebastopol, you're going to be seeing a little bit of these flooding concerns as we step out until 8 a.m. That's when this will persist. So flood warning is in effect until then, because there is ongoing flooding, and that flooding is likely going to persist again all night long before finally settling down with much drier weather on the way as we step out over the next several days. In fact, I kind of want to just take a look at what we are going to be seeing when it comes to that river flooding. This is our Mark West Creek near Mirabel Heights, where we are going to be actually getting to that moderate stage of flooding. So again, keep that in mind. That's going to be overnight tonight, and then finally getting a little bit back down by early tomorrow. Still weather alert day in effect today, though, because of all the flooding, the tornado warnings that are currently ongoing. Obviously, we have a weather alert day in effect for a reason, because there's some crazy weather currently ongoing. Let's take a wider view and show you, again, the Bay Area, exactly what we're going to be expecting over the next several hours, because right now, the biggest concern, again, is the tornado warning. What we're concerned about is all of the activity, all of the energy that's in the ocean that's making its way onshore right now. But as you can tell, it's a rather thin stream of moisture that's going to be making its way onshore, and as it does so, it's kind of going to be dissipating. Let's take a closer look, though, one final time at that spin, at that rotation, because it is farther south over near the tornado warning that we are kind of concerned about that rotation, and I'll have even more details on whether or not this active weather is going to stick around through tonight, coming up at 5. Back to you, Ryan.
Hey, thanks, Zoe. Well, the North Bay has been getting hit pretty hard. This is video of northbound 101 from the Marin CHP. They're advising caution on the wet roads and to avoid driving through areas with standing water. Turn around, don't drown. Officials have been in the North Bay all day assessing the damage. Kevin Coe is in Corte Madera, which saw some of the worst of it.
You're going to have to invest in infrastructure, and this is sort of Exhibit A behind us, but we're going to be going to several places this morning. This is not the only community in harm's way.
Congressman Jared Huffman, Marin County Supervisor Mary Sackett, and several county officials seeing flood damage in a neighborhood by the Santa Margarita Island Preserve Monday morning. It's one of many flood-prone areas devastated by the recent king tides. Congressman Huffman and Supervisor Sackett say the county secured federal funding in 2020 to replace this existing berm with a sheet-piled flood wall. Then, in March of 2025, those plans were canceled indefinitely by the federal government.
It wasn't like we were granted money and then the grant was taken back. The entire program was cut.
We've got a plan for a fortified levee with sheet piles so that you don't have to worry about gophers flooding an entire neighborhood. We got to fund it.
In the immediate future, Marin County is preparing an emergency declaration to send to Governor Newsom's office. Congressman Huffman does not expect much help from the federal government and says voters should take note for the next election.
We're going to claw and scratch and fight for that funding. We're also going to try to win an election and put some checks and balances back in place so that projects like this can get funded again.
The election is still a ways away.
Yeah.
What can people here realistically expect other than Band-Aids, like she was mentioning?
Well, we got to get Congress back in the game. I mean, honestly, this is the kind of need, and the program that we're describing that provided the grant funding, it shouldn't depend on who's in the White House.
All right, we have a tornado warning ongoing down near Santa Cruz and San Mateo counties. The tornado warning is going to be active over the next about 5 minutes or so. The rotation has definitely gotten downwards a little bit, but again, it is this cluster of activity. I'll actually put up those alerts right now so you can see on our virtual reality map. Again, it's made its way onshore. It was a waterspout earlier. There is a bit of rotation that we are concerned about as it makes its way. It's in between Pescadero and Davenport right now, so not a whole lot of people live there in the mountains, but if you're planning on traveling down Highway 101, it's definitely not the greatest time for Highway 1, along the coast. We are going to continue to see, let's take it over to the wall and show you that current radar, that current tornado warning that's ongoing. It's that little pocket of heavier downpours that we are seeing. Again, has made its way onshore. It was at one point a special marine statement. That special marine statement has been upgraded to a tornado warning. The tornado warning is, again, that little pocket of thunderstorms that's making its way over the Santa Cruz Mountains. It's actually now just to the northeast of Highway 1. So if you were planning on traveling there, it's still going to be a tricky commute, but at least you don't have to be worried about those heavy winds and those very, very gusty downpours. Again, we are concerned about a little bit of rotation embedded in this system. Rotation, you might be wondering, what exactly does that mean? Well, a storm has to rotate in order to produce a tornado, and a rotating storm system is exactly what we see here with those areas of green and red closer to each other. The brighter the green, the brighter the red next to each other, the more rotation there is. So the fact that we're seeing a little pocket of green, and then right next to that bright red pocket, there is definitely rotation embedded in this system. And the fact that the rotation is actually held together from the shore over the mountains means there is a very high probability that there is actually something reaching the ground. If you live in the Santa Cruz Mountains and maybe you took a picture of it, please send it our way. The only way that we can know and confirm a tornado is if we actually get a picture, if we actually get an observed spotting of it. So it's not confirmed right now. We don't have any observations of this tornado, but what we do know is if you live in this area, please get indoors, get to your safe space. If you don't have somewhere that doesn't have windows, get into your bathtub, put your mattress on top of you. Please be safe about it. Again, this is going to be expiring in the next couple of minutes. It expires at 4:15. So if you are living in these areas, or if you live even just north of this storm system, take it easy, take it safe. This storm is going to continue throughout the rest of the evening, not the tornadic activity, but at least the rainfall. So keep your eyes peeled, stay safe on the roadways as well. There is going to be a lot of rain to get through tonight, but at least we aren't going to have to contend with this active weather for much longer than today. Again, tornado warning in effect through 4:15. I want to make sure that everyone is prepared and knows about it. If you live in these areas or you have friends and family in these areas, call them, make sure they're safe.
And the flooding in Marin County caused 911 service and non-emergency lines to temporarily go out in San Rafael. That outage happened around 8 p.m. last night. Calls were later rerouted to the Nevada Police Department, which was not impacted by the outage. Police say the problem was resolved by 1 this morning. The county is still recommending anyone who cannot reach 911 to go to a nearby fire station. And the Sonoma County Cassia Elementary School in Stewart's Point closed today because of a power failure. According to PG&E, that power went out around 6:30 this morning, but was restored 3 hours later. Stay up to date with rain and emergency impacts on the CBS News app, streaming on CBS News Bay Area and over on KPIX.com. Thanks for watching our live weather update. We're going to have much more news and weather coming up after the break. In the meantime, that tornado warning still in effect for 3 more minutes.
Yeah, so if you live in those areas, friends or family, call them, make sure they're safe. It should be expiring, but there's a lot of energy in the storm system, and I'll have even more details coming up at 5.
All right, thanks. So more news and weather coming up after the break.